Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ghana Connect on Joy 99.7 FM. At least we know that around 30,000 Ghanaian travelers may soon face new hurdles at the U.S. Embassy, not because of war or terrorism, but because of overstay, as you heard me right. Ghana has landed on the U.S. watch list of possibly 36 countries facing possible U.S. visa restrictions. The reasons, we are told, too many people overstaying their visas, and also poor identity verification systems right here in the country. Tonight on Ghana Connect, we ask, so what if the US restricts visas? Won't that actually be good for us? Join us with your thoughts on 055-1111-997. My name is Michael Ashali, and I'll be your host. Let's connect after the break.
Small money day, big money day, where too much money day. Telecel too much money promo drop. If you dial star 500 hash, then join them. For the Telecel too much money promo inside, you will win 100 Ghana cedis cash for the daily draws, 20,000 Ghana cedis for the weekly draws, then 1.2 million Ghana cedis for the grand draw inside. That be 1.2 million Ghana cedis. You for just reload airtime, then get points with it make you win. Make you dial star 500 hash or go the Telecel Play App top. Then book inside riders give the Telecel too much money promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This promo will be NLA where they regulate them for the Caritas Lottery platform top.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining in my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Let me introduce you to the Honeymoon Hotel.
Aula, please. You can't just change your mind anytime it suits you.
Wow, I can't believe you're doing this on a honeymoon night.
I am going to sleep in the lobby.
I'm coming with you.
Don't follow me.
I'm coming with you.
Woman, me small nakai. Don't.
Don't. Me, I will, don't. You two don't, I'll come.
Adapted and directed by Shirley Frimpong Manso. Honeymoon Hotel. Starring Jocelyn Dumas, James Gardiner, Amake Ababrese, Amanda Gisi, Andrew Tando Adate, David Donto, and more. Live on stage on June 20th, 21st, and 22nd, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day at the National Theatre. Tickets are available now at 200 Ghana cedis regular, 350 Ghana cedis VIP. Dial star 713, star 33, star 10 hash. For more information, call 0545 246 478. Sponsored by African Regent Hotel, Caveman Watches, Oyarifa Mall, McPhillips Food, and AE Cinemax.
The Honeymoon Hotel, where love lasts. Powered by Africa Arts Network.
Welcome back to Ghana Connect right here on Joy FM 99.7 FM. But before we get into the issues proper, I want you to listen to this.
Bounce to a visa, nigga, please.
risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed.
Notified that we are going to be placed on any prohibition list. At this point, all of that is speculation. We are having high-level engagement. We want to be assured that there is really no merit. And so far, I can tell the people of Ghana that there is no cause for alarm. I think that we will be fine, and we will continue to have very great and cordial relations with the United States of America.
So you've just heard President Donald Trump and our own Foreign Affairs Minister Bakujetua Blackwell telling us about possibly what he has not heard, what exactly is going on or has been said in the U.S. about some travel restrictions that may involve Ghana. He also continues to tell us that they as a country, or we as a country, have already reached out to the embassy seeking answers whether this is true and what we can do about it. So America may be thinking of slamming the visa door in our face, and suddenly Parliament is concerned. But why should we be? Maybe it's time we embrace the restriction. After all, it would build the best hospitals here. If we built the best hospitals here, Ken Oforiatta, for instance, wouldn't have to be flown abroad and wouldn't be looking, or we wouldn't have to be booking flights and checking for flights, looking for him anywhere. If this had happened earlier, possibly Harrison Afo, who we know is a football player, might still be crossing balls for Kotoko, and not Columbus in the United States of America. Again, the likes of Benjamin Azamati would be sprinting at the University of Ghana and not stadiums in Texas. And maybe, just maybe, Tyrone Magai, for instance, also would say no thanks to a U.S. scholarship because Ghana would already be the land of opportunity. But let's be honest, some of those now shouting the loudest on the floor of Parliament, their families are already tucked in nicely overseas with homes, schools, and passports sorted. So really, who is this ban hurting? Tonight we ask, could a U.S. visa restriction be the best thing to happen to Ghana? We'll get voices from both sides of the Atlantic divide and debate definitely what it may mean, whether we should go ahead and allow them to ban us, or possibly we should work earnestly to reverse these restrictions and give some more people the opportunity to, quote-unquote, seek these greener opportunities. We'll connect, and I'll not be doing these conversations alone. I've assembled a good number of people right here on the platform to help us understand what their perspective is, where they think that Ghana should be shifting towards. But we can't do without with just this individuals. We want to hear from you as well, doing a listening now. On WhatsApp, it's 055 1111 997. 055 1111 997. Now, let me introduce you to the people we're doing this show with. I have with me Rufin Pierre Grino. He is an educational advisor, and through him alone, many students have had their dreams, quote-unquote, answered, gone to the U.S. and parts of the world. Rufin, are you on the line?
Yes, good evening to my cherished listeners. Yeah, I'm on the line. I can hear you loud and clear.
Grateful, Rufin, for connecting with us. Rufin, did I get your name right? Rufin Pierre Grini.
Yes, Rufin Peregrino.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, we also have with us Noah, is currently a Ghanaian studying in the U.S. Noah, thanks for connecting with us.
Thank you very much. Good evening to you and your cherished listeners, and I'm happy to be on this program.
Fantastic. Grateful to have you, Noah. Daniel Botri, is also currently the president of the National Union of Ghanaian Students. Not forgetting that these are not just students in Ghana, but students across the world. Daniel, thanks for joining us and connecting.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Fantastic. We'll also be having someone join us all the way from Belfast University. Used to be in Ghana and got the opportunity to travel. He'll join us shortly, and when he does, I'll definitely introduce him. We also have in the studio Collins Frimpong. I mean, he's on the in between. To be or not to be. I will hear from you. Collins, thanks for joining us as well.
Thank you, Michael, for the opportunity.
So let me start with Rufin. Rufin, I'm guessing, so since September last year, when we know that some of the schools opened the admission portals, how many students have you been able to help migrate or secure opportunities outside?
Okay, thank you very much. Myself and my team, we've held close to about 40 people by far, and we currently have quite a number of people who are also in search of dates, and we are believing that we will get them an appointment date prior to their class start date, so we can mock vet them for their interview.
So, Rufin, let me ask you, what do you think about this particular debate? Should we allow ourselves to get banned? Or, which possibly some people have argued that will favor us in the long term, because we'll go ahead and build the best university on the continent or across the world, the best hospitals, and have the best individuals working in our offices.
Lots of prospective international students. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, it has been a very big blow to prospective international students because intent traveling abroad and never coming back to his or her home country. A lot of people also have, clear intent going to seek for quality education. Ghana is not having a very quality education, but looking at our faculty to students ratio, here in Africa or in Ghana, faculty to student ratio, we look around a 1:200 or 1:150. You can attest to the fact that way back when we were all in the university, and in a class of 200 students or 300 students, we only have one lecturer. Comparably of about 6:1, which foster education. So this has been a very big blow for we Africans or a lot of countries that are on the line of being banned. Notwithstanding to people with dual intent of going to abroad to seek greener pastures too has been a big blow for us. But then I think in the long run, it's going to help our education. It's going to help our leaders to fasten or build our education on a solid ground. I think it's going to go a long way to help us.
Am I hearing you indecisive about where we should be leaning at this moment? That on one breath you think that our education system is not up to the standards that some students want and want to go, and you want to help them to go, but on the other hand you think that this may help us build better structures?
Yes, I wish it's my honest prayer that we don't get banned. If you don't get banned, but then there should be enough scrutinizing. I think that will best help. Okay. I side with Trump having a thorough scrutinizing on people who want to travel abroad, so that he can filter those with dual intent. But then at the long run, I think it's going to help us to build a very solid educational system. I think it's going to do that because we have good and quality teachers in our home country, but our education system cannot be compared to that of abroad. Like I said earlier on.
All right, Rufin. Let me come to Daniel. Daniel Botwe, so as an individual and news, possibly, where are you leaning towards? Get banned, or we work towards going back to the US?
All right, thank you very much. There are pros and cons, just as you have mentioned. The ban would force us to do a lot of things for ourselves and prepare ourselves for the future. As far as we are concerned, we are looking at various other options. This has been a gradual process, and it started initially with admission restrictions for international students at Harvard. Then, somewhere 2 months ago, we had the state where they were supposed to, all embassies around the world were supposed to hold on with interviews until a thorough background check was done on international students, which led to a whole lot of chaos and pandemonium. Students who had already gained admission, paid their fees, and were just due for interviews were put on hold. Now we are at a stage where there's a possible visa ban for US. At the National Union of Ghana Students, we have already been looking into this. We have already issued advisory to Ghanaian students who need to seek further studies. Not necessarily because it's a luxury, but sometimes there are certain specialized courses that students require to do, which they may not get to do here. We have advised them to look elsewhere. Europe, India, all these countries have very good programs that we are looking at.
I mean, I'm wondering, why are you not advising them to go through the prospectus of, say, KNUST, University of Ghana, and all the universities we have in the country for the nearest good course that they could just take, become the best in it, and then develop the same courses they are going to take outside the country. Then now we can own that knowledge in the country.
Yeah, so we have looked at that as well. So if I landed, I would have come to that. And like I said, most of these are mostly master's level and PhD programs where we are looking at certain specialized. For first degree programs, we don't encourage it at all that for a first degree students will go studying abroad, because we have virtually almost every first degree discipline in the country. But for certain specialized programs that have come up, and there is so much advancement these days, we are looking at AI and all these specializations that are coming up. And in this regard, students may need to have certain specializations. And if they are not getting it in US, there are various options that we have advised. But beyond that, if you can, we have always told our people, study in Ghana and then stay in Ghana. Even beyond those who go to study abroad, we always encourage that when you go study abroad, do come back and help the country. If you look at the visa ban that they are looking at, one of the reasons is because we are having situations where people go and overstay. So they finish studying and they refuse to come back. And these are all parameters they are looking at to take a decision. And so at the National Union of Ghana Students and some of the challenges that we face, we are looking at all these issues. Beyond that, some of the challenges also that we face with students who go to study abroad is where they get some of these study abroad agencies that are not credible. There are very good credible study abroad agencies that are helping students to process their documents. But where these non-credible ones use fake documentations and the rest to process documents for them and they travel, it leads to a lot of challenges. And I can tell you on record that we have had a few challenges with Ghanaian students, which never used to be so. In the past, whenever Black students abroad have challenges, it is usually not a Ghanaian, it is from other countries. But these days, this year alone, a few Ghanaian students have been deported, of which I have had to facilitate and all of that, because they were caught that they had used fake documentations to acquire their admissions and the rest. And so it shouldn't be a do or die to study abroad. If you have the opportunity, why not? But we have very good courses in this country as well. Okay. And even if you have to travel abroad, it should be because of very specialized courses that you are unable to get to do in this country. And the other options like Europe, like India, like Russia, and all these other countries are there. And when you go, my advice, finish and come back and help your nation.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I like the point on which you ended. But you made a point right before that one, and I'll put the other one to the students that we have joining in us, Mo, and then also to Noah, and then also ask Collins, who's just finished the University of Ghana. But let me go back to Rufin, because he mentioned that some students get issues. And at the heart of the threats to restrict Ghana's visas is because of students and visitors in general who go to the US and overstay for many other reasons, which could involve so many others running away and not going back to the airport and returning to the country. Rufin, if you can help us, from your experience, what would you say is the reason for which students will travel or visitors will go to the US and don't want to come back to the country?
Yeah, this has been a very funny one or interesting side when it comes to traveling abroad. You know, people really travel abroad for one main reason. And when you look at the main reason why they travel abroad is in quest for greener pastures. There are a lot of people here in Ghana who even don't have any reasons for going abroad to visit or for tourist sites or whatsoever, even to pursue their masters or whatsoever. A lot of people even have 2, 3, 4 master's degree. But if you look at the financial status quo of the economy or the economic status quo of the country, you realize that not everyone can afford the 3 square meal or 3 square daily meal. So they use what they have to travel. And when they go and seek for greener pastures through education, they feel like, okay, the country is giving them better opportunities than what their home country do offer, in quotes. So they have to overstay, try and make ends meet, try and save something, and then come back home and then establish themselves. This has been the main reason why a lot of Ghanaians do travel abroad. If you have a very good economic status quo or good economic plan in our home country, trust me, you have a lot of youth stay in the country rather than traveling abroad just for sightseeing. And then it may even marvel you. A lot of people even go there, they travel abroad, and they are not able to pay most of their school fees or even their living expenses because not everyone gets, tuition waiver, graduate assistantships, or what have you. And when you get to the country, you have to pay your tuition in accordance to the number of credit hours you register. You have to pay your health insurance. You have to pay accommodation and all that. So a lot of people even end up not going to the school. Recently, we had a meeting at Marriott Hotel where we had some of the US visa counselors there. And they told us that a lot of people come to US and then they turn cab drivers. They don't go to the school. And these universities
they leave Ghana with the promise of going to school and then drive taxi.
Exactly. They go driving cabs. You understand? Because when you get to school...
Taxi, not cabs.
Come again. Yeah.
Taxi, not cabs.
Yeah. Taxi.
This is why you shouldn't be going to the US.
Yeah. You understand? So it's all about having dual intent and getting there. Because a lot of people have masters. I have friends and families. A lot of people even have dual master's degree and they're like, Rufin, Charlie, get me some school. I want to travel abroad and all that. They are equally good students, but then they are looking at the greener pastures and going abroad, traveling abroad. This is a stepping stone in quest of greener pastures. Trust me.
Interesting. Thank you very much. So I get the point that if they had the means or the economy was good, they would have stayed. Definitely not going to another country where they have to work 3-4 jobs just to survive. So a ban in that situation may help us.
Yeah, a ban, and we have the pros and cons. If it's going to be a temporary ban, trust me, and the economy, our politicians are going to work on the economy, and then they are going to get us, good jobs. They are going to create jobs for the youth. Trust me. A lot of people won't go. Recently there was a shift in Canadian visa application for study permits because Canada started doing what? Canadian embassy started, tightening their visa approval rates. So the shift moved from Canada to other countries. So if we have a very good economic plan.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Than traveling abroad. for greener pastures.
Okay, great. Pierre, I'm really grateful to you. Let me come to the studio and talk to Collins. Now, Collins, you've had the conversation already. You are privy to the statistics, how many Ghanaians have traveled. It may be small compared to thousands of Ghanaians who are traveling, but it appears that more and more people are getting the appetite to travel and abscond or default and not return to the country eventually. You just heard some of them just want to go abroad to go and drive taxi.
So, according to data from the Washington Post, it suggests that 7.64% of Ghanaians that travel to US primarily for businesses and pleasure, about 23,800 of them, out of that 7.64% of these people do not return to their country. They overstay their visas. And also 2,400 students who visit annually. These people are students and also exchange visitors. 15.74% of these people do not return, or they also overstay their visas in the US. For me, this particular conversation that we are having, I think it is very important for all of us to start thinking about this. There's going to be challenges if US banners, they put a travel ban on Ghana because of remittances. We all know that recently one of the reasons for the strong appreciation of the cedi is the remittances that we are receiving from other countries, and we know US is one of the countries.
But if the banners, those who are there sending us the dollars already, will still be there.
Right. So if you are going to ban Ghanaians, it means that the number is going to be static in the US. So if every year, as you stated earlier on in your intro, we have over 30,000 people who travel to the US yearly. It means that we won't get these 30,000 people to go to the US. Or even if it is partially, we are not going to get more people to go to the US for us to get more remittances. So there is going to be this challenge over there with regards to our economy. But what are some of the reasons why people want to leave the country? What are the reasons for me, Colin, sitting here, who want to leave Ghana here and say that I want to move to the US, despite all the challenges that it is in the country? Here, healthcare issues, education issues. You come here, economic issues. We are in a country where you can go out and go and work the whole day, and you've been asked to be paid just less than 20 Ghana cedis per day. You can work the whole of the month and you are being paid for less than maybe 1,000 Ghana cedis. How much are you going to even spend on transportation to survive? And so these are some of the reasons why people want to leave their country. So I think that when the ban is being in place, our leaders will think of finding ways and means to make sure that our economy booms. They'll also make sure that our health.
Let me tell you what they are thinking about. They are in Parliament asking urgent questions or putting questions to the Foreign Affairs Minister whether this rumor is true.
Maybe because they are going to lose something.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a Parliament issue.
Maybe they won't get the opportunity to visit those health facilities in the US.
When you say health facilities, I know you are talking about somebody. I mentioned his name, but
I have not mentioned anybody's
name. We
name.
know a lot of
maybe
Ghanaians,
their children won't get the opportunity to go in school in the US. They don't want them to attend the schools, the universities, or the senior high schools that we are all attending. But when they ban those, or when they ban us from traveling to the US, or partially ban us, then they will be conscious. Okay, let's develop our health system. Let's develop our schools, our educational system to the point that everybody can attend and know that, yes, I am attending a quality educational system. I'm going to a quality education. And also I am having good health care. Everybody will know that, okay, if I stay in Ghana, I'm going to have proper transport system. I won't leave home 5 a.m. and get to work at 8 a.m. when you spend 3 hours on your roads.
I see the emotions there, definitely. The room is getting hotter. But let me hear from Noah. Noah, you just recently left Ghana for the USA to study. For all the things that Collins has said, if all of these things were here, would you have gone to the US? Maybe first of all, let me ask you, what course are you studying in the US? Hello, Noah. I think at the moment
sorry, I think I was on mute. Yeah, so I am studying international relations at Cornell University, one of the Ivy League universities in the US here.
You had to add that, right?
If I could come in a bit on the arguments my colleagues have made, I think that the idea of a visa ban becoming the reason why our politicians would do the right thing is a non-starter. We should not pretend that for people traveling to the US travel just for educational purposes alone. And even if that is the case, I don't think it is a bad thing. So if the US bans Ghana and Ghanaians cannot travel to the US, it doesn't prevent our politicians from being able to travel to other jurisdictions for medical purposes. So if you say that if the US bans Ghanaians from traveling to the US, that will force our politicians to do the right thing. I don't think that necessarily works, because they could still find other means to get the medical care or healthcare facilities that they want that are not in Ghana. So it is good that we call out the government and we call out politicians to do what is right, but I don't think that using visa restriction is one of the ways that we can achieve that as Ghanaians. Because I think that it is important for us to be able to travel to any other country in the world, not just the US, but any other country that we want to travel to. And this is important because, one, we don't just travel for education. One, people travel for businesses. The US and Ghana have trade deals. Ghanaians travel to the US for business purposes. Likewise, people from the US go to Ghana to do business. So if there is this ban, how do you think that is going to impact our economy? Definitely, it will be a negative impact. Also, when it comes to education, I think it is very important that we are not banned, so that we can continue. Students from Ghana who want to access education in the US can continue to come, because that is the only way we can tap into the knowledge that is here in the US and transmit it back home. Because there are some specialized courses, just like the NUC's president mentioned, there are some emerging fields that we do not have in Ghana, that we cannot study in Ghana. For example, AI is something that is very big right now, and the US is leading in this particular field. So if you want to also become a superpower when it comes to AI, you have to learn from the best. So if you say they should ban us from traveling outside to the US, so that we can stay in our country, and we want to pretend that the University of Ghana has all the courses that Harvard has, and we want to pretend that KUST has all the courses that MIT has, it's not practical. Let's be frank to ourselves. We know that these universities are, in some regard, I'm not saying Ghanaian universities are not the best or they are not good. They are very good in what they do, but there are some courses that we need to be able to tap from the knowledge here in the US. And so it is important that we are able to move freely to any part of the world that we want to move to. And that is the only way that we can transmit ideas, back to Ghana, and we can help build our country. And if you look at, our parliament right now, majority of the parliamentarians are people that have gone outside the country to study, and they've seen things. I can say maybe 50 to 60 or even above percent of the people that rule or govern our country are people that have studied abroad, and they've learned one or two things that they are trying to use to help our economy and our country to grow. So it is important that we are able to move freely across the globe, and I think we can't argue that the US should ban Ghanaians from traveling abroad.
Well, no, thank you very much. So we've just been joined by Mo Salam and Danny. He's an international policy analyst and currently at the University of Belfast. Mo, thank you very much for connecting with us.
Good evening.
Thank you very much, my brother, for joining us. So, Mo, you just heard what Noah just said. I mean, he's a student just like you across the globe, but specifically in the US. Would you agree with people saying that, well, let's go ahead, let's allow US to ban us, go ahead and ban us, and possibly we'll get everybody to rethink our reasons for going elsewhere for the best when we can just build the best for ourselves?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I apologize for joining late. I had network issues, and good evening to your listeners. Like you said, I completely agree with my brother Noah. This is an important conversation. We cannot let our emotions get in the way. There are reasons why countries have bilateral agreements. In these bilateral agreements contain education, it contains business and commerce, it contains geopolitical interests, it also contains cultural and entertainment agreements. And so, in all these spheres, you have people traveling to other countries either to do business or through our diplomatic missions or to further their education. And so, if you lump everything together and say that, okay, the statistics shows that a number of people, when they go to the US or when they go to the Western countries, they overstay their visas, they don't come back, or there's a large number of people who try to migrate or immigrate into the US illegally. And so, for that matter, there should be a ban on Ghanaians traveling to the US. I think we have oversimplified the matter. I think it is not something we should be oversimplifying for various reasons. One is, I think what the government can do, or what our foreign affairs ministry can do, is to negotiate with the foreign office in the US to ensure that the statistics have variables. Okay, if you look at the people who are traveling to the US and overstaying their visa, there's a particular demographic of people who overstay their visa. Okay, those are the issues of interest that they should study to find out that why are people overstaying their visas. I know in the US it's very difficult to deport people once they get across the border. They're already in the system. There are over 200 million people in the US. It's difficult for
recording stopped.
Everyone down. But what we can do is that, one, if you look at people who go for education purposes, majority of these people continue to do their PhDs and become very useful. In fact, those people, even the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, once said that they should consider granting people who have finished masters or PhDs permanent residence, because these people do not add a burden to the US economy. In fact, they add resource.
And you don't think that the reason is because they know they will benefit from the brains that these people came to the country with?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
And Ghana definitely loses in that transaction. We may get dollars, but we lose the mental currency.
No, what I'm saying is, you see, you have to look at it demographically. It is both ways. If they are able to invest in you to get the best of education, in fact, they should get something out of it. You are also going to benefit from the best resources available. You are going to benefit from the best. I mean, American healthcare is not the best, but if you are someone who has done a PhD and you are useful to the economy, some way, somehow, you're going to be useful to the economy. Secondly, business people who travel to the US, their intention is not to go and stay in the US. In fact, they have business interests in Ghana that they cannot just leave the country. Majority of people who overstay their visa are those who have dependents. So somebody goes there for tourism or whatever, finds his Kululu way into the system, or goes to study and does not finish and just finds his way to stay. Before you realize he has brought a dependent to the US, they find a way to stay. These are the demographics they should be looking out to, finding ways of bringing back into the country or putting a limit on these visas, but not to completely ban it. And so I am against a complete ban, because it's going to affect both economies, and especially us as a developing nation. Our dependency rate is so high that, I mean, I agree with people who say that it will force our leaders to come up with genuine ways to salvage the situation. But
I mean, in the last 8 years, we could have built the best hospital in the world, but that didn't happen.
Let me tell you something.
We could have made University of Ghana or KNUST the best.
A pessimist. I am an optimist. I believe we can do that. But let's not kid ourselves. The systems you see in the US are 200, 300 years old systems that have stood the test of time.
Systems that started from somebody took a decision to start. And we can.
I agree with you. You know, let's take Europe for example. Let me give you a bit of geopolitical history. If you look at after the First World War and European economies collapsed, it took the US through the Marshall Plan to help these economies rebuild. You get it. You cannot, before you rise, you have to stand on the shoulders of giants. But we, on our part, what we have to do to ensure that we don't become perpetually dependent on these economies is that we have to start implementing homegrown policies that will, I mean, if you take Ghana, for instance, we cannot say we don't have the best universities. We have. But what we can do is, it's not just every course that we should allow people to go out and study. It should be categorized, okay? People who are going out to study technology, AI, people who are going out to study advanced cybersecurity, people who are going out to study courses like engineering. You know, we're talking about cutting-edge programs that can bring our economy, you know, from these ruins that we are in. But the thing is that these people, there's no agreement between the government of Ghana and most of these European countries that host our students. There should be, let me give an example. I came to Serbia to through a program called the World in Serbia Project. Okay, the Serbian government finds students and they give them these special scholarships to come here and study. Okay, and once you study, you go back to your country. There's an agreement. It's not just when you come here, there's a phase that you go through to choose a particular course that will have a direct benefit to the country in Serbia and also to your country. They don't just pick anybody. In fact, here, the faculties, when you come and you go, the enrollment process is so rigorous that you can pick a course and by the time you realize you've left the faculty or you cannot do the course. So it is a very rigorous process. And also, of course, in Europe here, the languages are so diverse that you would have to learn a different language to be able to study the course. And there's an agreement. Every year, there's that sort of agreement. But if you look at the US, it's so open in the sense that anybody at all who has completed university can just apply, get admission, get funding through the scholarship secretariat or through Get Fund, and runs away from the country. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't subscribe to the fact that there should be a complete ban. I think we can categorize it. The demographic of people who overstay their visa, there should be a cap on it. They should find ways and means to ensure that those people face the system. But I don't believe that there should just be a complete ban on it. We still need to grow our economies, and we need that relationship with the US to ensure that we move forward.
Daniel, I know this is a point you've made.
Can I come in a bit?
Okay, yes, please do.
Yeah, so I wanted to come in on this point that, you see, on the issue of brain drain, where people come to study, say, in the United States, and they virtually don't want to come back to Ghana, I think what the government can do is that it has to be very deliberate on what it wants to achieve with the young people. So we have Get Fund, we have all these government scholarships that they can give to brilliant but needy students that are in strategic fields that the government wants to grow. Government can give scholarships to these people. Have an agreement such that if you take this scholarship, you are agreeing that after your studies, you want to come back to Ghana to help the country to grow. Then the other part of it is that government must be ready to provide opportunities for people. So let's say I am doing my studies here. I'm not on a government scholarship, let's be clear with that. I have finished my studies. I want to come back to contribute to the development of Ghana. If I come back and I don't get an opportunity, I come back and I struggle to find a job, then there is no use in me coming back. But if there is a program where the government is looking for the best, of its talents that study, say, abroad, to come back to the country and to contribute to development and growth of the economy, then I think that would be a good thing that can help us solve this problem of brain drain. But if you leave us and you say, go and study, and there is no agreement, government pays for my school, my fees abroad, and I study and I finish and I say, I don't want to come back, and the government cannot come in to say, okay, you can't do that, you have to come back to the country to help, then, it is a loss of the government. So the problem can be solved. Give Get Fund, establish, a program that selects the best students from across all the tertiary institutions that we have in Ghana, and give them funding to go and read strategic programs that the government will use. Then they will come back into the country to come and help the country. But if you pay for my school fees and you leave me to go, and I finish and I say I want to come back and I'm not too sure whether I'll come and find a job in Ghana, and there is a job offer here, then I may be tempted to take what is here.
All right.
Also, the government must make, opportunities attractive back home so that we'll be able to come. I mean,
no, but the only way we will make it attractive is if you absolutely want it. I mean,
what did you say?
I can't make an attractive opportunity for one or two individuals. If all of you were here and wanted and developed here,
individuals. This is my argument. You should understand what I'm trying to say. Like other countries, for example, France, they have a program where the government picks the best students, take them through a particular exams, and if you pass the exams, you are given a job in the civil service. And that is how they want to commit to growing their country. Okay. So that not just anybody is at the helm of affairs, steering the affairs of the country. So they have this program that they give the best people the opportunity to work in the civil service. So if government wants that kind of arrangement, they can send people outside, get fund, can pick students that are very good in fields that Ghana is lacking, send them abroad, have an agreement that I am giving you this fund to go and study this and that. When you finish, you have to come back to the country. And that when you come, there is this opportunity that is open for you. And we are going to put you here to do this and do that. If you put that kind of program, then we will not have, challenges. Okay. That is basically what I'm trying to drive at.
Let me come back to the studio and ask Collins. So Collins, they are the likes of Benjamin Azamati, who is now in the US. He runs in the name of Ghana, but it still comes back to the fact that he's US trained, or at least for the better persons his fame has been training in the US. I know he started at University of Ghana, but he could be or he could have been running under the name of University of Ghana if he never left. There are so many others like that. There are so many names that have gone to NASA that are ruling the world. That could have just been home knowledge that would have built our various institutions. Yes, but these are people we now ascribe to countries and institutions outside the country.
Yes. If you ask Azamati that he should come to Ghana, will he even want to come? He should come to Ghana and stay
but
here.
He started from Ghana.
Exactly. He realized that if he stays in Ghana, he's not going to realize his potential, so he needs to leave the country. During the African Games, Paul Amwa, our best 200 meters runner, and in fact, he also helped us to secure the gold medal during that particular race, and he ran alongside Azamati. He came to Ghana, and after the African Games, he wrote a lengthy post on social media complaining about how we treated the Titan grass pitch at the University of Ghana Stadium, because that's the only standard track, Titan track that we have in Ghana here. Baba Yara is not standard because the quality is poor. It's the University of Ghana is the only track that we have here, and how we treated it was bad. So he had to beg the federation and also our sports ministry to ensure that they cover the track before they will do anything else on the pitch. These are the people that they think that we don't have the best facilities. Nobody is saying that US should ban Ghana. That's not the point that I'm making. But I'm trying to say that if US ban Ghana, we should be able to find our way out. Our leaders need to put in measures so that we see our country to be the most attractive country that other people too want to be in the country.
Probably if we were the best in the world, Donald Trump would have flew all the way to Ghana to have a conversation with John Dramani Mahama to say, I beg you, don't ban US citizens from coming to Ghana. Just as he went to China
if you look at the number of citizens that are even overstaying their visas, if you compare to other countries, Ghana is not even among the top countries that their citizens overstay their visas in the US.
But in Africa, we're one of the top, actually.
Right. So across the world, if you compare, Ghana is not even among the top countries.
Okay.
So why is that the US want to push Ghana along that?
I think it's a policy, foreign policy issue.
I'll come to you shortly. I beg you, really, Noah and Daniel, and as well as Mo Ibrahim. I'll definitely come back to you. But some other people have been connected with us on social media. We'll definitely have to bring them into this conversation. Some of you have been connected with us on WhatsApp 05511111997. I'll read some of your messages. This one says that if they ban we should also ban them. They will affect their big businesses if all the countries also ban in return. This is from Godfred, who's connecting with us. Godfred, Apia JC, thank you very much for that message. This one says, I doubt Ghanaians will stop seeking for so-called better opportunities elsewhere, like the US, if we had all they had. This is because it's a mental state. The death of our mental slavery is too deep, he says. This is from Nubian Biz. Thank you very much for that. Someone is asking, BB from North K says that what is Collins saying? The scholarship is not given to them to escape the difficult situations here. They are sponsored to go and study, come back to help address our challenges. With the mindsets being expressed, I support government cancelling the scholarship because it's been wasteful to the country. That's what he says. This one here too says that seriously, Ghana hasn't benefited from these offers of scholarships to people to go and study abroad. How many return to serve? This is from Utuo connecting from Abeka. And then finally, this one from Nana in Sprinters. He says, hi guys, to be honest, we travel on a month's visitor's visa and end up disappearing into thin air for 20 years. Can you imagine? You tell somebody at embassy you want to go and see your country for 1 month and I come back after 20 years. So let's try and wrap up the conversation real quick. I'll give everybody 20 seconds to wrap up. Let's start from Daniel, which I haven't given so much time to you. Daniel, given all the things you've heard on the platform, finally, where are you leaning towards? A partial ban, total ban, or I mean, let's go and beg the US to forgive our sins. Daniel, if you can unmute for me. Okay, I don't seem to have Daniel. Let me come to the studio. Collins, whilst we are wrapping up, what do you think? Where do you think we should be leaning towards, and what can we do right in this moment? Maybe this is an opportunity to rewrite the decisions and the deals that we sign with Ghanaians who go outside the country, who don't end up putting us in trouble like we are in right now.
Yeah. There are a lot of things, about 60 things that the United States is requiring from Ghana to do in order to avert this particular ban that is staring in our face. And I think in as much as we can also put our house in order if the ban is in place, our foreign ministry, Okujeto Ablakwa, the minister and the government need to put in some measures to prevent that, because there are a lot of people that also benefit from that.
Thank you, Collins. Do I have Noah on the line?
You do, yeah.
Great. So, Noah, your final words, briefly, very briefly.
Yeah, my final words is that as it relates to this argument, I think that Ghanaians should continue to be able to travel to any part of the world they want to travel to. It is good for knowledge transfer. It is good for technology transfer. It is good for trade, and all other things that we need as a country.
All right.
And basically that is my argument. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Noah. Mo Salam and Danny, 20 seconds.
Thank you very much. To conclude, Papani, what I would say is that from a geopolitical point of view, I believe that this is nothing but a geopolitical tactic. It is to push Ghana towards a certain foreign policy line. I believe they are not going to place a permanent ban on us because our strategic relationship encompasses a lot. Business alone, education, knowledge transfer alone. And when it comes to strategic importance, there's a US base in Ghana. It is not possible for us to have a complete ban. And so I believe that what our leaders can do is to come up with strategic programs that will ensure that the so-called brain drain we are talking about is not just brain drain, but people that are looking for greener pastures and not just running away, but there's a lack of opportunity in the system. And so if our leaders are able to put specific and deliberate programs in place, people who complete PhDs would come back to the country, not just to meet jobs, but to meet jobs that will take care of them and their families, not mega salaries about 2,300 Ghana cedis. Thank you.
I'm grateful, Mo Ibrahim and Danny. This has been Ghana Connect. Every Friday we come back on your always with the most topical issues as Ghanaians, as we all jojo to find the way forward. Another exciting edition of Ghana Connect right here on Joy FM. My name is Michael Ashali, and that is how we wrap up on today's edition of Ghana Connect. We'll be back same time next week with another exciting edition. Up next is The Library with Andy Dusty. Do stay with us. Don't go anywhere.